We are working on 1-point perspective using a vanishing point at the bottom of our page or the center of our page to create one section where all of our corners, all of our lines are going to disappear to. This creates perspective, it creates visual depth. We are going to be adding things to our boxes. We're creating squares or drawing squares and then turning them into forms, making them boxes. We're going to be creating openings for objects to be coming in and out of. This one has cats. This one has a giant octopus going inside of each cube box. And we're going to be using simple techniques for shading that we've gone over in class before. And I will review again. This one here, she made it look like there is an explosion happening from the vanishing point that was lightly erased. And then all these boxes here will be needing shading, but we have our characters, their little rocket ships coming through, real nice. This one is a really good basic starting point where we can see how our squares here have lines, orthogonal lines that go to the vanishing point. And if I bring this a bit closer, we can see where the lines were erased and you can see the vanishing point still. And this proves that all of these points here connect to our vanishing point. The next step for this one is to choose where to open up some boxes because we want to show depth, we want to show space. We also want to show a variety of sizes of boxes, a variety of openings, and have some of them staying close. Now this one here only has 5 squares turning into cubes on it, but I want anywhere from like 8 to 10. If you do more, just make sure that you spread out your composition nicely. We have smaller ones here and then larger ones. Some can be going off the page as well. So in order to get started for this project, all you need to do is come up with your vanishing point. So I'm going to make my point here towards the bottom in the middle. It's just a small dot. It's very light. If you were to draw a really big circle, that would look terrible. You'd have trouble erasing it. I'm going to darken it so you can see that better. The one thing that you don't want to do is make a vanishing point a big circle and then filling it in. Because then where's your vanishing point going to be? It can be in multiple spots. Plus we are going to need to erase that. So using an H pencil would be best. Then there are different tackboard squares that you can use that have different inches on them. Since I'm using a smaller paper, I'm probably not going to be using the 4-inch. My students are using bigger paper, 18 or 16 by 20. And you are going to start tracing these. I'm going to do mine going in an arch just to make a simple, well-rounded composition. I'm going to have my boxes, my squares here at an angle so I can see multiple sides. Tracing is kind of hard to get that corner in. It's very important that you get your corner in. It's also important that you don't move your square. You can see how careful I'm being. If it slides, it's easy to check. Make sure that you have everything in the right spot. So I pressed down enough so that you can see it. It's not that heavy, it's not that dark. So I would have you guys continue all of these. I would like a variety of sizes. Variety is one of our principles where you use a variety of shapes, variety of forms, variety of lengths, variety of value, of opening. We want to prove in this lesson that you guys can do a lot of different things and not just one shape, not just one perspective. I'm going to have a couple of smaller ones going in the back side. Okay, so these corners here represent, with these circles, the line, the corner that's going to go to the vanishing point. So this will help out a lot. Some people need to see with a circle, if I were to outline or highlight exactly where those corners are going to be to our vanishing point. Holding a ruler can be difficult for this project, so make sure that you have an L shape, that you're able to see a little bit of that dot and a little bit of that corner, and just lightly drag your pencil down to that vanishing point. And you're going to do that for all of your sides. making sure it's going right to that vanishing point. I'm going to draw this top one really light because I'm going to be going through that and getting rid of it later. All right. In order for me to close off the shapes, turn them into forms, I am making sure this line here of that side of my square is parallel to my ruler. I'm going to be tricksy and drag my ruler down and go between these two lines here. That's orthogonal. So this line is parallel to the line at the bottom of my square going from this corner on the left to the corner on the right. And I can check that out pretty well by eyeballing that this side's even. The line here on the right side is going to be parallel with this right side of the square, but I need it to connect to my line before it, so I slide it over slowly so I can see. And this square on the bottom right is parallel to that. It's between the bottom right corner and the top right corner. So that closes off my square, turning it into a cube, rectangular cube, really elongated. And then I got rid of my orthogonal lines, and then I'm going to erase those. Later I'll go back and erase those so we have good craftsmanship. That is how we get our basic form happening here. So I'm going to go from the corner, but I'm not going to be able to see all the sides on this one since it's directly above it, our horizon line and vanishing point. But I'm making sure my ruler is at the right spot. And if I were to draw this line here, it's going to go through it. So you should start off with all of these and then choose where you're going to make your line. I'm going to make this one really short, and here's a quick and easy way of making an even size. So I line up my ruler, looking above it, making sure that that's parallel, and I just connect it. So this is a good way to get started. In this instance here, I have two lines. I have to decide which one I go to. My line that I just drew ended on the corner that was attached to this line on the right. And then I need to make sure that I make this one perfect as well. Drawing there. Okay. I'm going to show you how to open a box. We can leave this closed. We didn't have to draw a line through that, but I'm going to show that it is open and has a frame. So I'm just going to outline it here, making sure they're about the same distance. I should measure it. I'm in a hurry. Gotta make sure they're parallel so they don't look skewed. And then I would make this part darker for now, making sure I'm inside of all my lines. So this will make it look like a thicker cube. And then I would erase this one, because I wouldn't be able to see that if that's a solid wall. And then, if you're done with that box, you would want to make sure that your lines are nice and crisp. So I'm going to go over them and just reinforce those lines, bring them out again if I erase them. So I would do that in a lot of places. And if I want to draw an opening, say on the top side of this one, I guess I'll do it on this side. I just erased that line though. Come on, get it together. Gotta put that line back. Gotta plan your stuff out before you go all out. I might not be able to see that. So if I went to have a window on this side here, I'm gonna slide it over. Slide it over, make this parallel. And then I connect the top of that line to my vanishing point, and the bottom of that line to my vanishing point. And then I would be able to see a little bit of that box. Also, I'd be able to see a ledge if I wanted to make one. Going to bring it in a little bit. This line that I'm drawing in here is parallel to the top line right there. And then the edge of it goes to the vanishing point. That's how you make a little ledge. And I would have to also draw a line up here. Make sure that it's parallel. That's how you get the inside part. Ta-da.